the fabulous four of cricket of Virat Kohli, Joe Root, Steve Smith, and Kane Williamson. According to you, who's the best all-format player amongst these?
I'm going to go Virat Kohli.
Hello and welcome to the second episode of the second season of All Things Cricket. Today we have with us a special guest, an international cricketer who also leads her side. She's the captain of the Scotland cricket team and has recently been crowned the ICC Associate Women Cricketer of the Decade. Quite aptly so, because she has a stunning average of 50 in T20 internationals, and along with that also has 15 wickets to her name. So we have with us Kathryn Bryce. Kathryn, it's so good to have you.
Thanks very much for having me. Pleasure to be here.
So how are you doing? How is this off season from cricket treating you?
Yeah, it's not been too bad. We're lucky enough kind of post-lockdown last year to get a few games in at the end of the summer. And then we've been back in training. So I'm down in Loughborough training there at the university. So
yeah.
A few times a week, kind of been in the centre. We've been in smaller bubbles, about 6, to kind of keep distance, but we've been lucky enough to still be able to train through this last lockdown. So I think, yeah, really lucky to still be able to get in and get into the gym as well to keep that all going.
So that's good to know that the routine is still being maintained. So Kathryn, how we plan to do this is we'll go about it in 3 segments. The first segment, we'll discuss your journey specifically. The second segment will come to a certain fun rapid fire segment. And finally, we'll do questions that people have sent in for you in the last segment. So I'll begin with my first segment. It's called Unfurling the Journey. And as the name goes, my first question to you is about how your journey has come to this stage. What made you excited about playing the sport cricket, and what made you get into it professionally specifically?
So probably just watched a lot of cricket growing up, or watched loads of different sports when we were younger. I think my earliest memory of watching cricket is like the 2005 Ashes. I remember being at my grandma and granddad's, watching the game just like on TV whilst we're messing about in the back room, I think. But yeah, always been out in the garden playing with my sister and dad, kind of throwing balls at us and kicking football, rugby ball, playing golf and tennis and hockey and everything like that. So just very sporty in general. And then we were lucky enough that there was a girls' cricket team at the school that we were at. So it was pretty much the only school in Edinburgh that had a girls' cricket team at the time. So kind of just got a letter through saying, like, do you want to join this club? So went along to that, started playing and training through the winter, and then got asked to play in the girls team that summer. So went on tour with them pretty much just as a fielder, really. And then, yeah, carried on playing for them all the way through school, started playing with the boys when I was about 13, I think, and a similar sort of time started playing for the Scotland under-17s and played with them kind of all the way through. Started captaining the Scotland under-17s for the last kind of 4 years of my time with them, and yeah, played a bit of regional cricket and club cricket around Scotland, and then also started playing for Scotland a little bit when I was younger, and then probably more regularly the last sort of 6 or 7 years, when I think the first main tour that went on was to Thailand for the global qualifiers there in 2015, which was brilliant. Yeah, and then made it here. Yeah, so then after school, went on a gap year to Australia. So played in Adelaide for about 3 months at the Darren Lehman Cricket Academy, and then came back to study at Loughborough University and trained here. So the facilities in Loughborough are amazing, and like the coaching and the setup that they have was kind of already a professional setup, but without it being a professional team. So had kind of all that experience kind of behind me to then become a professional player.
In a nutshell, all of what you said accounts for a lot of hard work. And when this hard work paid off very recently, definitely it has been paying off for a while, but when you were crowned the ICC Associate Women Cricketer of the Decade, I want to know, one, what was your reaction to being nominated, not just yourself, but you were nominated with your sister. So what was the reaction of you and your family? And finally, when you won the award, what was the celebration at home?
Yeah, it was interesting when we first, someone tagged us in something on Twitter and we came up, but it wasn't really from the ICC, so we weren't really sure if it was a real award sort of thing, and just kind of come up, and then to then kind of officially see it on the ICC Twitter it was amazing to kind of to know that we'd both been nominated for it. And I think Sarah's done very well as well in the last few years, and kind of really grown. So yeah, to have both of us from Scotland, but also 3 of the men's players as well nominated, I think has kind of shown like Cricket Scotland and the kind of hard work that they've put in over the last 10 years to kind of really develop the game. So yeah, just really proud of her to be nominated as well. And then when we found out I won the award, really exciting. We're in lockdown at that point, so no big celebrations, but a couple of drinks with the family, and just thanked. There's quite a few family, friends and stuff that got involved and voted and everything, so just a big thanks to everyone who did. And it was really exciting to kind of know that you've been thought of for something like that in the first place.
Right, and I haven't said it yet. Congratulations to you for that. And I'll take you straight to my next question on this note. You are also captaining your national cricket team, and I just want to know, A, what is the experience of being the captain of your national cricket team, and B, is there any additional pressure that comes along that you have to ensure your personal performance along with that of the team, and how do you deal with that additional pressure?
I've enjoyed being captain of the team, I think, because I did it for a period of time for the under-17s. Was used to kind of leading a team out and all the counting how many overs everyone had done and keeping track of all of that. Had kind of helped with the experience to then do it later on. I think you often feel under a bit more pressure because you're trying to lead the team and lead by example, and it's more difficult to kind of ask people to be doing different things if you're not doing them yourself. So it's sort of a pressure in that sense, but at the same time also drives me to kind of be my best and train hardest at all times, just to kind of lead from the front in everything that I'm doing, to really push on the team and kind of pass on the experiences that I've got in different teams to kind of keep on raising the level of the Scotland women's team.
Mm-hmm. And one more question in this segment that I have for you is about associate cricket nations specifically. So there has been a constant discussion and a much better effort to ensure that cricket becomes a global sport. In your perspective, being someone who's playing, specifically captaining a national cricket team, what do you think should be done better to make sure that associate cricket nations are involved more in the sport, and how should we progress towards making it a global sport?
I think the support to play more international matches against each other, not just people in Africa playing against each other and people in Europe playing against each other, actually being able to spread and mix the countries more often, to keep rather than it just being a qualifying tournament, because I feel like you're always playing in a tournament where it matters and you're trying to qualify for a World Cup or something like that, rather than having good competitive matches against each other in pressured situations, kind of out with that. And I think that is quite difficult with kind of the funding and stuff to be able to take a team somewhere, is often quite difficult for most of the associate nations. And I think even one of the main things that people have talked about a lot recently is kind of growing the World Cup and making it a bigger tournament with more teams in it. So you saw Thailand qualified for the World Cup and did fantastically well, like competing in quite a few of their games and only just falling short in some of them. So there are teams that are able to compete against the top nations, but they just don't have the opportunity to do it consistently enough to be able to put in those consistent performances. And I think as well it then just raises the awareness of those countries that play cricket, and I think more people in Thailand would probably notice that there is a women's team and everything like that, and it kind of just boosts the sport around the globe. If you see a team that you've never really heard of before, like everyone knows that England and Australia play cricket, but kind of seeing Thailand in there and doing really well and just having a fantastic time at a World Cup, I think really boosts the sport.
That actually makes a lot of sense, because the way you put it, you're straight away playing competitive cricket in pressure situations, and there's no lead up practice to that. So I completely agree with you on that, and I think it is something that should be and would be worked upon. I'll take you to my next segment. It's called Face the Heat. So a bit of rapid fire questions here and there, and maybe we'll try to put you in a tough spot or two. So the first one for you is your funniest experience on or off the cricket field related to the sport.
I think one great memory I've got is when we're playing under 17s. We often travelled down to England to play a lot of our games. So all the bus journeys were fun and just kind of being all together. But I think one of the funnest moments was, I think it rained, and I don't know how happy the groundsman was, but we all just like ran and did a massive mudslide and got our whites completely filthy, like covered in mud and everything like that. So I don't know how happy Mum was when we got home with whites covered in mud, but yeah, that was a fun memory.
Did you get any comments from the groundsman on that?
Not that I was aware of, but I'm sure we're probably getting some looks. Don't make eye contact, it's fine.
Okay, and the next one is your favorite cricketer in the current international scenario, both in the men's cricket scenario and in women's cricket.
I think men's cricket, probably Ben Stokes. Amazing what he did last summer. Was brilliant and had everyone on edge, I think. I think for the women's team, Nat Siver, she's kind of got the all-round game at the moment with bat and ball, and just a really exciting cricketer.
Okay, and according to you, who is the smartest cricketing brain?
I think Susie Bates was really clever. So when I was with Adelaide Strikers, kind of saw her captaining the team, and that was amazing.
Okay, and the biggest influence on your career as a cricketer?
Probably Liz Smith, who set up the women's cricket team at the school that I was at. I mean, I guess if she didn't do that, then who knows whether we'd have found cricket or anything like that. And she's kind of still supporting us now.
That sets the platform, makes a lot of sense. Okay, so in the next set of questions, you have to answer with your preferences. Can be somebody you've played with, can be somebody you wish to play with, or anybody that comes into your mind. So the first one is, if you had to participate in a cricket quiz in a team of two, then who would you pick as your partner?
Probably Sarah, my sister, because she's big badger and watches everything and knows everything.
And that creates a good team bond as well. Okay, so which application on your phone do you use the most?
Probably Instagram.
Instagram. I am glad. And if you could have one specific superpower, what would you want to have?
Maybe like transporting to somewhere. Just like you can just go anywhere you want in the world at any point in time. Just
makes it easy for you.
Fingers and on the other side of the world.
Makes it easy for you to tour to places for playing also. Okay. Your cheat diet. Favorite cheat diet specifically?
At the moment, really enjoying cinnamon bagel with chocolate spread on it.
Okay. And your favorite holiday destination?
One of the best places I think we went to was when we were in Peru and went up Machu Picchu.
Right, and moving back to cricket, so the fabulous four of cricket of Virat Kohli, Joe Root, Steve Smith and Kane Williamson, according to you, who's the best all-format player amongst these?
I'm going to go Virat Kohli.
Okay, perfect, Virat Kohli. And if you had to create or say name the fabulous four of women's cricket, so who would you take?
I think Elise Perry, definitely. Sophie Devine, Nat Siver, and Meg Lanning.
Meg Lanning, that's perfect. And according to you, who is the most underrated and the most overrated cricketer in the current international scenario? Can be from men's or women's cricket teams.
I think one of the most underrated, maybe not anymore, but Beth Mooney. Okay. I think from Australia. Mm-hmm. And overrated, I'm not sure if I can think of anyone. It'll have to be someone that I'll never play with. Can't think of that one.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, and in your personal game, which skill, if you had to pick one, which skill do you enjoy more, the bowler or the batsman?
Probably bowling, ball swing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is the first thing that you would do if you wake up as the following? So I'll name particular people and you have to tell me the first thing you do in a made up scenario that you wake up as them one fine morning.
Yeah.
The first one here is Amy Jones.
Probably go out and do some wicket keeping.
Okay. The second one is Kyle Coetzer, the captain of the men's cricket team.
What to do is Kyle. Maybe go back and play that, finish that England v Scotland game where Scotland beat England. Yeah.
That's smart pick. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you could wake up as your sister, Sarah.
Play the piano.
Okay, that's a talent she has.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. And the next two, I'm going to name a part of the Fab Four you just named. So one of them is Susie Bates.
Probably play basketball in the Olympics.
Okay, and Elise Perry.
Play football because I'm absolutely terrible and she's pretty good, so I'll do that.
Okay, and I'll take you to our next segment now. It's called Janta Ke Sawal, which literally translates to questions from the audience. So the first one we have for you is from someone called Meena. So Meena is asking that you play both cricket and hockey. So how different is your training process for these two sports? And if you were to think about it, has any particular stroke or your stroke play in one of these games affected the other in a positive or negative manner?
Yeah, I think I've probably taken cricket more seriously over the years. So the all-round training for cricket's been more intense. So that's where I've got my gym program and like a structured cricket program, like training program for that. Whereas hockey, I think the fitness that I've done over the last few years has really helped with hockey, but also playing hockey, like just time on feet, kind of running around for 70 minutes, I think is also kind of translated over and helped with that. But I think hockey's been really good kind of mentally as well, to be able to go and play a sport that you enjoy and be competitive, but not to be too serious like cricket is quite often. You've got to think about everything you're doing and why you're doing it. And one of the strokes, I think probably sweeping has probably been helped by my hockey. So kind of having learned to do that, playing hockey and reverse hitting and stuff as well, I think that's really helped kind of taking it into my cricket game.
Okay, and the second question that we have for you is from someone called Kaushiki. So Kaushiki is saying that since you are also pursuing your education right now, how do you manage to strike the right balance between your education as well as playing cricket professionally?
I think it's sometimes quite difficult. I've got to try and usually have my training schedule laid out, and lectures would usually kind of be in between that, but at the moment they're not as structured because they're all online. So kind of making sure that I try and do them at the same time each week and blocking out periods of time to actually do work on is really important to kind of actually make sure I do that. So it's quite difficult like with the timing wise, but I think kind of using the weekends throughout the winter when you've not got cricket on is really valuable, and trying to get everything done before the summer when you've got loads of matches.
Okay, and the third one that we have for you is from someone called Rajat, and he is saying that because of global T20 leagues that have happened around the globe, a lot of cricketers from associate nations have gained greater recognition in the past few years. So the impact of global T20 leagues, how would you rate it, and how would you say that is beneficial / some perspective that is not actually beneficial from your side?
Yeah, I think they've been huge in kind of developing the game in these countries and the awareness. So I think like with the Women's Big Bash in Australia, the strength of the number of players that are ready to play international cricket for Australia is huge. I think one of the difficulties is for like associate player, for example, is kind of getting recognised on a high enough stage to be selected to play in those kind of tournaments. So after Thailand qualified for the World Cup, a couple of their girls got selected to play in the Women's IPL, which is brilliant. But I think it just shows that it kind of takes you to have played at that level to kind of get noticed by these teams and to have the opportunity. But I think overall, it's really pushed the standard of the women's game.
My last and final question to you is that after all of these years of playing cricket, what do you, if you could put it into one word, what does cricket mean to you? What would you say?
I think community, probably. Especially in women's cricket, everyone knows everyone. Like they've played against each other or know someone that knows someone. So I think the experiences that you have with everyone, whether it's playing against them and kind of getting together at the end and everyone kind of celebrating, I think, yeah, it's a real big cricket community.
We've had an answer to this question from 25 different guests, and we often get live or something like that. It's a new answer, a new perspective, and I think that makes a lot of sense actually.
Yeah.
Okay, that is it from my side. Thank you so much for having joined in. It was really interesting to have this conversation with you, and I think a very important perspective that is brought out to the audience is also coming along. There was a lot of hype for this episode, and I think it has been great to do this. And if there's anything that you would like to say to your audience or your fans or to me.
No, just thanks very much for having me and for all the support kind of over the last year and everything. And I hope you keep watching women's cricket and enjoying it, and it just keeps on growing and we get to travel the world playing it.
Definitely. Thank you so much for doing this, Kathryn.
No problem. Thanks very much.